I have told many studios no, 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 no. First offer I got was in 1999, and to do the story of my life. Just didn't think it was the right time. Didn't want to do it. Did not do it. When I wrote my book, I remember Random House wanting the rights, artistic rights to the story. I told them no. They said John Grisham gives them to us. Well, I take it from John Grisham. I don't. And I didn't because I didn't care if the story ever got told. And with the movie, the different offers that I've got, extremely wealthy offers. Got an offer for $1.5 million just to the rights of my story. And I keep saying no because my story has to be told the way I want to tell it. See, the whole world thinks that every Hispanic is a drug dealer, every Hispanic is a gardener or a waiter. And yes, we might become drug dealers, but that's not who we are. That's not who our race is, not who we have been brought up to be. So I finally decided that I'm going to tell my story. And it ain't the same narco story that you see. It ain't the story that you see in Cocaine Cowboys, which was an amazing story. Because at the end of the day, if you take the script of Pablo Escobar, of Gacha, of El Chapo, of any of them, Sal and Willie, it's the same script. Poor kid, good family, decides to drop out of school, join a life of crime, becomes very wealthy, lives a lavish lifestyle. Some kill people, some die, others spend the rest of their life in jail. That is the script to all these movies. All the narco movies, all the Pablo Escobar movies, all the American-made movies, all of them. That's not my story. And that's not the story I'm going to tell. See, if you ask people to remember how many gangster films they can remember in the last 20 years or 30, 40, 50 years, or if they can remember any gangster movie that was made 40 years ago, most people will not remember any of them. But there's one that they all remember, The Godfather. Why? Mario Puzo was a writer, and his agent kept telling him he needed to tell a mafia story. He refused to tell a mafia story because he felt it would be the same thing that we Hispanics struggle with. It will portray every Italian American as a gangster. That's not what he wanted to tell. He unfortunately had a gambling habit, and when his last book flopped and he could not pay the bills, his agent said to him, "Now you better tell the gang story." He come home all beat up, and his wife said, "You better tell that freaking mafia story." So he starts telling that story, but all of a sudden, about a week into it, he realized, he goes to his wife and says, "You know, this is not a mafia story. This is a family story. This is a story of an immigrant family, of a dad that had to protect the fate found his life. And his goal in life was to protect his family and to protect his community. And yes, he had the dream that we all do, that our children don't follow in our footsteps. Fortunately, fate finds Michael Corleone. And it's a tragic story, but it is a family story. And that's why we remember it so many years later. That is the story I want to tell. I want to tell the story of a young immigrant kid that wanted to do right, that wanted to do it the right way and was doing it the right way. Fortunately, crosses the line, fate finds me and goes off the deep end. But I didn't drop out of high school. I went to school. I worked youngest employee at the Federal Reserve Bank. Went to University of Miami. And when fate finds me, yes, I slipped. And yes, I grew and had enormous power and made enormous amount of money. And I was there before Pablo Escobar existed, before Sal existed, before El Chapo, before any of them. Because the beginnings of the cartel were people that were honest people, people of integrity and business people. They just looked at cocaine as something for the rich and famous. But I go to prison, I get tortured, I go through all the things. I lived the lavish lifestyle that all of them lived. Maybe more, maybe less. But a lavish lifestyle that very few people on this earth get to live, no matter how much money they have. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much money Bill Gates has, I hope he doesn't have the power of life or death over people. But you know, at the end of the day, that thing that was within me, what my family taught me, what my father and my mother taught me, never left me. And that true north, see, they taught me where true north was. And when I went east, west, and south, I knew where true north was. I knew where I had to be. And then when I come out of prison, I realized that the world had changed. That it was no longer just a drug for the rich and famous. That no longer we were the Kennedys of the 25th century. But that now there was crack and there was kids dying. I walked away. 4 years later, the government could not stand it that I had retired multimillionaire. and I forfeited everything I had. And I forfeited over $60 million. You know why? Because I wanted to start anew. I wanted to start a brand new life. And I wanted to put all that behind me. And that brand new life might have been in prison. It didn't matter, because wherever we live, it's just a place. It doesn't make who we are. Who we are who we are in prison, on the streets, in an isolated island. We are who we are. And I did not like who I'd become. I wanted to be who originally I was. That good kid that cared deeply about others, that didn't break the law, that was honest, that wanted to do the right thing and take care of his parents. So we're going to tell the story. And there's great, great people involved. My DEA agent, the first undercover DEA agent in my case, he'll talk about how it was, what the government felt about me and my godfather, Manuel Garces. And it's going to be exciting, because at the end of the day, my goal in life is to let people know that, yes, just like my documentary, we're going to shoot different scenes in different cities around the world. And if you look at just one scene that we shoot, you might think, oh, well, that was a funny documentary. If you shoot a scene that is sad, you think, oh, that's a sad documentary. Or if you shoot a scene that is really painful, you think that's a painful documentary. But I hope that when we shoot all the scenes, that people will see an immigrant family story where we mess up, but that, you know what, at the end of our documentary, our movie, it'll be good, because we'll let the world know that, listen, there is faith, there is a God that forgives, and that, yes, you have made horrible mistakes that have brought about horrific punishments and horrific consequences, but you can reinvent yourself. You can become different. The beginning of your life, the movie of your life, doesn't have to end the same as the ending of your life. So that when your children look upon the movie of your life, they'll realize that, yes, my dad messed up, but my dad changed. And if my dad changed, anybody can change. And there's hope for those mothers that are looking at their children suffering from addictions. And there's hope for those wives that feel like their husband is out there leaving them. There's hope, people. A world without hope is an empty and black world. So that's the movie, that's the documentary that I will tell. Whether it makes money or not, I don't care. I have even decided that I'm going to fund it myself. Why? Because I don't want other people's input as to what is commercial, what is viable, what is not viable, what the streaming services will buy or not buy, what people are going to watch or not watch. No, I'm going to make it myself. And if it makes money, it'll be to buy more books to sell to send to prisoners. And if it doesn't, it was my money. I don't have to answer to anybody. But it will be my story, the way I want to tell that story. I found an amazing director that believes and feels and looks at the world like me, also a Cuban. Because to tell a Cuban story, you know, it really helps to be a Cuban. So I just thank God for this opportunity. Stay tuned. And hopefully we might be able to even share tidbits here and there. And that's just the beginning. I got great, great projects that I'm going to take upon with Dame Dash and others. People that believe like I believe. People that want to make a difference in the world. That's what I'm all about. I'm 67 years old. I will die sooner than later. So to make more money, now I'm going to change my lifestyle. I can only drive one car. I can only live in one house. Yes, I had different houses, but now I realize I don't need to. If I want to go into another house, I just rent it. Go to Airbnb. Spend a week. Somebody else's house. Leave. Let them pay the bills. So I look at life very, very simple. The more I need, the more miserable I am. The less I need, the greater feeling my life is. And that's what I have tried to do. I get offered business deals every day. Great ones. From people I know would make money. Not interested. Because it will take away from what I value the most now. Spending time with my wife, my children, and amazing grandchildren God's given me. I never thought I would even be married again. This year, my wife and I will celebrate 26 years of an amazing marriage. Love her to death. Wake up in love, go to bed in love. So I thank God for that. Stay tuned, and I pray for me, and pray that this project will be something that will impact somebody's life. Remember, If you change the life of one human being, you have changed the world. Telling a narco story of making horrific decisions in our life does not, by no means, change the world. It just tells the world how messed up life is. But telling a story of hope, faith, redemption, and a God that forgives, that'll change people's lives. Be blessed.